Hey there, friends. This is Jamie. I am a licensed professional counselor supervisor and a registered play therapist supervisor, and we are celebrating International Play Therapy Week. So happy Play Therapy Week, everybody. Today, I have one of my good friends, Sarah, on. I wanted her to come on so we could talk to you guys about virtual play therapy, which is not something that we hear a ton about, but it's awesome because Sarah has lots of experience with it. So Sarah is an LPC and she's in Colorado. She is EMDR trained, hopefully to become EMDR certified. She specializes in working with kids, trauma, and grief. She was a contributing author for a book, and that book is The Handbook of Human Sexuality Counseling and a Sex Positive Approach. And for you guys that have been watching my videos, you know that I am a sex positive therapist too and working towards becoming a sex therapist. Another cool thing about Sarah is she did an internship in 2017 in Africa where she worked with victims of political and government trauma. I think that is so neat. She currently has a background in play therapy. She's been doing play therapy for about 9 years, but she's just now got the opportunity and decided to start working towards her registered play therapist certification through the association. She also has a background in group therapy, family therapy, and seeing individuals. She's currently doing a lot of virtual, as I said before, so that's why I wanted to have her on to kind of talk us through that. She lives in a rural area in Colorado where there's a lack of resources. There's probably a lot of people that have the experience of having a lack of resources or living in a rural area where they have to use virtual services for that doctor, their therapy, whatever it may be. So I thought it would be awesome for her to come on and give us a different perspective of how she does kind of play therapy through the virtual model. But also, COVID also had a big impact on us switching to things. So if we ever had to go through something like that again, we have the option to do virtual. So Sarah, so glad that you're here.
Thanks so much for having me, Jamie. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy. So how do you explain virtual play therapy to parents who might be skeptical?
So, Jamie, I'm glad that you brought up COVID because I really think that changed the game for play therapy because I think before COVID, there was nothing really virtual. There was no phone sessions, nothing like that. It was super rare, kind of like one-off cases and stuff like that. So I really talk to parents about let's try it and let's see how it goes. And then I'll really talk with them in terms of some of the things that we're able to do in terms of making it more interactive. There's some resources out there that I'll use to kind of help with sand tray, puppet show, dollhouse, things like that. So really I ask them to have an open mind, and I talk about too a lot of resiliency for kids as it relates to them having to navigate a really challenging situation during COVID with being online. I remember when that first happened, I was seeing 4 and 5 year olds for the first time that were getting on a computer, where I feel now that we've gone through that experience, kids have been essentially forced to adapt so much that it's really been a lot easier for many kids, not for all kids, but for some kids. And I'll also talk with parents too about how a lot of times kids are more comfortable in their own home, especially some kids who are dealing with social anxiety that aren't ready to be in a physical office or are not able to. And kids have really busy schedules.
Yes.
Very busy schedules. And
yes.
A lot of times it's easier for parents, especially if there's siblings or they're having a hard time having childcare, or we need to have a private check-in with a parent first. We're able to do that where a kid can be in another area of the home with another grown-up or a sibling, where it's a lot more convenient in that sense. So I think the convenience factor has really helped. I think kids having to go through COVID has really helped. And I also think them knowing we're not just going to be sitting here talking the whole time, they're going to be actually able to do some things is another big point.
But one thing I love about Sarah is whenever we've had to have a virtual session, not sure what to do, able to go to her and she's able to provide some awesome resources. And also if anyone comments and needs any of these therapy resources, let me know and I can get those from Sarah. But she does provide some awesome additional ideas on what to do during virtual.